Hi, my name is Kirk Hunter, and what you're about to see is a very eclectic view of the film and video industry here in Austin, Texas.
Hope you enjoy it. It's Naked Slacker!
Do you think there is a strong union in Texas? Does Texas need a union?
If you want to leave Texas, I think you need to join a union. But to be in Texas, quite a bit of the work is, non-union. So I think it's best to stay non-union.
Probably does. It probably does. I think it probably protects them because it keeps people out that might do a better job. You know, I think that's what happens a lot is, you know, and they're fat and they're happy, they got a job, I'm with the union, I'm protected, I don't really have to do shit. So here's a guy who really wants to do something and can't, but would probably do twice the work in half the time with 10 times the more creativity, but they can't do it because they don't belong. And thank God for public access for that reason.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so far, I mean, we have always been a state that can kind of live with it both ways. We've had some labor problems here. Dallas has had their problems along that line, and the thing is that there are a lot of people who go, why are these people coming in and taking advantage of us? They won't pay us the amount of money that we deserve. They work us too many hours, and so we need to get a union, and we need to get organized and tell these people we're not going to do that anymore.
Or something close to. Some people don't want the union.
Well, exactly, and it does. I'll be the first to tell you that in the attitude, it's not that I support it one way or another. It's just that like when Hollywood calls here and they say, "Are you a right-to-work state?" Well, yes, we are.
Yeah.
Well, what does that mean? Well, it means you have a right to hire anybody you want to work on this film, and they don't have to have a labor affiliation. But at the same time, it does not discourage labor unions from being in the state, nor does it mean that they should not have the opportunity to apply for a job just like anybody else. So right to work doesn't mean a whole hell of a lot.
I know they're making inroads into Dallas and all. I don't know about Austin. Occasionally you hear about somebody throwing a fit and they're having to hire them. I don't like to see it in that it guarantees a set wage, and that's not free enterprise. Free enterprise is let's turn out the best project, and for the least amount of money, you annihilate competition when you get unions. It's just ridiculous, and that's why, at least I hear, they're losing their support.
But it's not artistic either.
Yeah, exactly. It limits people. It puts them into very specialized, compartmentalized positions, and you can only do that, and it says, well, you can't do anything else, and that's very detrimental to the spirit of the human.
I don't know about the union stuff. I am a member of Local 666, which is Chicago's camera unit, and Chicago, Detroit, the middle of the nation, and it's I don't know. I've gotten 2 jobs out of it, but everybody's in it for the wrong reason. We're in it to
Promote films.
Well, no. It's nice to have a contract when you're working on it. I mean, how can I digress and say
Well,
so?
you don't have. You can pass because you
No,
love.
it's an important thing, I think. I'm also been asked to get into the LA union by the people I work with on these TV movies, and it's a very expensive proposition. You're talking for a camera operator, $6,000 or $7,000 initiation, and I paid $4,500 initiation back in '85 to get in 666. Back when in Dallas you had to be union to get work. So what I'm saying is I've gotten the union in Dallas, in Chicago, in order to get work. I didn't get it because I was abused in the work I already had.
Well, the only union I've really been closely associated with is the Stagehands Union. And I've had nothing but good experience with them. So I really stagehand, even though they're the unsung heroes, so to speak, of the business. And the same holds true for, say, the Teamsters, because I've seen the Teamsters on a lot of feature sets, and they're necessary, but they also do a pretty good job.
No, I don't think that you ever need a union I think that what you need to have is sort of honest and fair relationships between employers and employees. And there was a need for unions at one time in this country, but I think that unfortunately the unions kind of blew it by taking advantage of the situation and exploiting the situation to the extent that they gave themselves a real bad name. They got involved with criminal figures, and they stole too much money. And
you like the right to work state idea?
Yeah, well, it's very crucial to, I think, the film industry in Texas for this to be a right to work state. We are very scrupulous about not exploiting people, and we have never done that. When we have the money in the budgets, we pay people what their rate is, and we pay people what they're worth. When we don't have money in the budget, then we say to people, well, look, times are tough, this budget is tough, this project doesn't have the money, we want to do this project, we would like to work with you, do you want to work with us? And we don't have any outside person sitting on our shoulder and telling us, no, we have to pay this person this amount of money.
Yeah. Yeah, I think artists are children, and we'll work for free for anybody at any time, and we don't always know how to defend ourselves. And I'm a member of 3 unions, and I believe in them, and I support them, and I think we need them.
Protect ourselves from the outside people?
Well, just artists are not honored in our world.
In the United States?
Well, yeah.
They're more honored in France.
To be an artist is to be moving against the dominant paradigm, and we're not respected, and so we're scapegoated, and I think a union gives us some good protection.
Benefit.
What type of mentality does it take to be a film or video maker?
I'm kind of a controlled, kind of a crazy, I guess, yeah.
Well, crazy question is right. You know, you have to be a little bit off to be involved in this stuff, or at least it helps. You know, it's a crazy world, a crazy business. There's no security, and you know, people think it has some element of glamour being a filmmaker.
Very creative, free spirit. I think we're all a little bit unusual, all a little bit quirky. I think we're all a bit kids, the Peter Pans, I think. And I think we are a select group of people that really enjoy what we do.
Persistence, or you have to be totally crazy. You have to be completely persistent. You can't let a no stand in your way at all. That's one reason why I'm now getting more into acting. I figure I've already learned the persistence thing. I might as well adapt it to acting.
It happens to be a little crazy, you know.
I said a while ago, you have to have drive, and you have to have a desire and a single-minded focus. Like, you can't be worried about taking Billy to the softball game, you know, instead of going to your audition. And if you're going to be in any career, especially this career because of the stress involved, and you have to be nuts, you have to be crazy to be in this business in the first place, because everything is difficult. And you get a part, and you beat out 75 other guys for this part. And it's not because you're better or you're a better actor, it's just because you're what they want.
Neanderthal. What type of mentality? Oh, you have to be I think you really have to be obnoxious, kind of, and persistent and grumpy to a great extent to get anything done, because it usually, at this point, takes so many people to get everything moved from A to B that unless you're real tenacious, you would die, I think, trying to coordinate all that. No, not crazy, just obstinate.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be all those things. You have to be kind of schizo. You have to be kind of flexible. You have to be a lot of things to a lot of people, especially on the producing end, and directing too. Of course, just working with people. You have to have all kinds of skills. You have to really love detail. You have to be able to put your ego way far away somewhere. You got to be able to, like, you know, be a a master manipulator. Yep.
You have to be extremely adaptable to be a filmmaker. You have to be adaptable to things like not enough money, not enough time, the weather's not right, the thing didn't work, the actor didn't say the line right, the equipment broke, on and on and on and on. Every shoot that I have done has some case where things did not go according to plan.
In a lot of cases you sure do, because there's a lot of variables, there's a lot of people involved, there's a lot of creative differences between the talent and, say, the creators, and even in some cases the crew. You've got people that have attitudes about themselves that they believe they can do, that what they're doing is the only right way.
I think it requires a lot of perseverance. Perseverance really is very, very important.
What kind of person do you think? Are those two different questions?
Yeah, they are two different questions. There are certain kinds of tools that a person can have that are really advantageous. I think for any artist, to have an internal reference for what is valuable to that person. You know, like Vincent van Gogh, I mean, how much money is being shelled out for his work today?
Hasta la vista, baby. Give me a break. Give me a break. You got to be able to live an unnormal life. There's no ways you're going to live the average American life in being film and video.
Slightly altered to go into this business.
You have to be very persistent and very determined, I think. It takes a credible amount of focus and energy and just self-generation of energy.
It's a grinding, time-demanding, soul-eating, full of heartache and pain at times.
They're all over at ACTV like you.
Having all this
Mush for brains, that's all. Your brains are mushy, you know, I don't know. You have no opinions, you just accept whatever the hell comes out of the tube.
You've got to be sharp. You've got to be flexible.
You know, it has to be a little bit of a crazy mentality, I think, to be in this business. I mean, there's so much competition, so many people trying to do it. And
I think the first thing you have to be aware of is this. Sometimes there's static. Sometimes there's white noise all over the place.
Not in your mind.
But not in your mind. No, you want to keep it from your mind. I think people who aren't worried about security can handle this. People who can shift gears fast, who like the challenge of something new almost literally every day, and independent people, I think. I think this is definitely an industry where codependents don't make it.
No, so you have to be a person. Anybody can do this.
My last question is, what type of mentality does it take to be a filmmaker?
I think you gotta be twisted. It's you know, it's fantasy. It's not real. It's used for the most part as escapism, both on the filmmaker and the audience. But it doesn't have to be that way. It starts out, I think, as an ego thing. You know, there's a certain amount of insanity that goes on in the head of filmmakers.